Hi everyone and welcome back to the Skate Sanctuary. I'm Mel and today we're going to talk about one of those moves that makes you feel like a real skater, although we know you're a real skater. It's the 2-foot spin, sometimes known as a heel toe spin. Now, when I first wanted to try this move, I tried it in my kitchen and I was honestly grabbing onto the fridge for dear life because I got so dizzy and I thought, my goodness, can someone in their late 30s, in their early 40s, can we actually learn how to do this? And what I realized later was it's about alignment. So today I'm going to teach you all the secrets so that you don't get dizzy and end up ducking and diving around your small space, and you can learn how to spin safely. Before we actually spin, we need to make sure that we understand the process of spinning. Okay, there's a few things that we need to learn, and one of them is definitely about alignment. So if you are still finding your feet and you're struggling to stand still on the spot, save this video later and come back to it when you've got a little bit more experience. We need to think of our shoulders as having headlamps on them, and as you turn them, you're going to be shining a light around a corner. That's really important because our shoulders are going to initiate the movement and our hips and feet are going to follow. So the first thing I want you to practice is this twist to the side and back to the center. Okay, we're going to twist and back. Now, usually you will find that one way is easier for you to turn than the other. That's completely fine. I would suggest that you stick with your dominant side first and come back and work on your non-dominant side when you get a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to turn, hold, and we're actually going to let the lower body twist to catch up and then repeat. So make sure the knees are nice and soft. And we're going to turn a quarter, hold those shoulders there, twist the lower body to catch up. Turn and twist and turn and twist. Okay. So hopefully you can start to feel how your shoulders are in a really active position, and you can isolate those muscles in your back, in your torso, that are really holding you nice and steady. And by having your hands in front of you, you're making sure that you have a lovely, strong alignment through the center of your body, right up from the floor to the ceiling. Okay, next we need to work on how we gain power, because if it's just in our shoulders, we're only going to have quarter turns in order to feel that we're actually spinning. So we need to add some more power, and the power in skating comes from our legs. So we need to start with our knees nice and soft, and look, I'm starting with my feet a little bit wider than hip width, which actually means I'm going to go slower. The wider your feet are, the slower and more controlled your spin will be, but it will be harder to do lots and lots of rotations. If your feet are closer, you will feel more upright, but can you see your balance point means that you are going to be less stable. So you're going to pick the balance point that feels right for you. And if you're doing this for the first time, you're probably going to want slightly wider feet. So I'm going to start with bent knees, not so bent that I can actually touch my knee pads, but just somewhere a little bit above. I'm going to call this pocket height. And as I push to straighten my legs, that's when I'm going to release the weight from my skates, and added to the turn means that twist or that torque on my body is going to be a little bit like the power of something like a washing machine going round and round in our kitchens. So I'm going to go whoosh, and I'm going to see how far I can get. To start with, I'm probably going to be a little bit off balance, and that's okay. So let's start. So I'm going to bend, ready, steady, whoosh, whoop. Oh, and I'm going to bend again, because in order to land my spin and not fall over, I actually do need to bend my knees again when I finish. Let's do that again. I managed to get 3/4 of the way around. So I'm going to bend, and I'm going to start my hands, not from in front of me, but I'm going to wind up my shoulders so they're actually going from a quarter turn to my right, so I can get them halfway round, and my feet will hopefully follow. 1, 2, 3, push, twist. Oh, I think I got a bit further that time. Let's do it again. Push and twist. Oh, and bend to land. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Am I looking at my feet? Are you allowed to look at your feet? So we're thinking about two different things, aren't we? And this is where spinning and skills like this on roller skates become really tricky, because if we are focusing on just the arms, that's fine, but it's not really a spin. it's a quarter turn. We're doing a drill so that our body can learn the position. If we're focusing on our feet or our knees and making sure they start soft and push so that we've got that release in power, and then we bend to keep our balance, that's a different drill. But when we're putting this all together, what's going to keep that momentum as we spin? Any guesses? It's actually not bend your knees. It's holding your core really tight. Our core stability muscles, the ones deep on the inside of our body, is actually what's going to hold us really upright. So as you push, I want you to squeeze all your core muscles. If you're not sure where they are, just lightly put your fingertips on your belly and practice pushing. See if you can push your fingers so they go in and out. Okay, sometimes we can do this through deep breathing exercises as well. As we breathe in, we should feel our belly pushing out. Okay, so see if you can feel your core muscles squeezing together. It does take some practice, but I want you to imagine that you are strong. And sometimes doing this with your arms can actually help to engage your core muscles. But did you know without your core muscles, you wouldn't be able to stand up straight at all? So they are there and they are working all the time. What we're doing is really forcing them to be switched on so that we can hold this strong, upright, proud position for as long as we possibly can. We're going to try this time engaging our core muscles so that as we push up, we're going to try and stay tall as long as possible. The things I'm going to start are my arms in that wind up position. So I've got an additional quarter turn. I'm going to start with my knees bent. And then as I go round, my hands are going to remain in this position. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. And do you know what? I actually don't feel too dizzy. Now, if you do feel a bit dizzy, maybe you went a bit faster than you expected or a bit further than you expected, don't worry, it's quite normal. I want you to shake your head out, or you can untwist yourself by stepping around in the other direction, okay? When I used to do spinning in my kitchen and I really wanted to get as many rotations as possible, I think I had what I would consider one good spin about every 20 minutes. And that was enough, because after that, I found that if I carried on going, I already felt a little bit dizzy, and it was really difficult to do anything that felt like a good attempt. The other thing that I think is really important is I don't want you to say, this is my last time, one last time. After we've done our warm up, then we've got some time to work on those drills. Then we're going to do the thing that we feel that we're working on and video that attempt if that's what you want to do. And after we've done that new thing, we need to go back to working on drills or tricks or whatever skating we want to do that makes our body feel comfortable, particularly as we're building experience and time on our skates. It's really important that you understand we cannot work with fatigued muscles. We're not going to get the best results. Okay, let's try one more time. So I'm going to wind up my arms, bend my knees. As I push, I've got this rotation at the same time. Ready, steady, go. Woo! Oh, I ended up with my back to you. Okay, so I had my landing, I had my wind up, and I definitely did a few rotations. That was exciting. What's going to make me go faster is now I can experiment with where I can put my arms. If my arms are further out during my spin, this is going to cause drag in the air and it's going to slow me down. If I bring my arms in to across my chest, I have a friend who was an artistic skater and she taught me this years ago. She said artistic skaters start here, up to across their chest, and then bring their arms down to land. It feels really graceful, perhaps even if it doesn't look quite so graceful, it definitely feels really good. So it's a down, up, and a down. And that down motion with your arms actually helps to cue your body and your knees to bend at the end, which is really important, because if you look unsteady, you're always going to feel a little bit like less graceful than you probably could. So landing that spin really confidently will always make you feel more solid and it will look better. Okay, I do usually say though that we're going to focus on the feeling and not how it looks, but the spin is very much a show-off move that you definitely want people to be looking at you. So where do we place our arms? We can start out, bring them in, place them out again. And then the second thing is with our feet. So you might find that your feet come together ever so slightly. You might allow them to start wide. As you bend and push, you can actually bring them in just a little bit. And this is something that's going to take practice. Also, just remember that your nervous system is going to stop you from bringing your feet too close together. Because if you have ever kicked yourself in the skates, you'll know that it doesn't really end well. You're going to end up kicking yourself, tripping up, and probably falling over. So your body stores that as a memory, and it means that you might find your feet are a little bit wider than is ideal, or so you think, because your body is keeping you safe. So don't worry, just keep practicing. Over time, you're going to build the experience, you're going to build the evidence that having your feet a little bit closer together is safe and that you can cope with it. So as that happens, your trust is going to build in yourself, you'll build that self-belief, and your spins will get faster. But know that it's going to take a lot of practice. So if I'm trying the new out down position, I'm going to start here with my arms here. Really steady. Okay. I don't know if the going into it worked for me. Let's talk about some troubleshooting. What happens if your spinning isn't quite going as you intended? Maybe you're doing your little spin and you're finding that you're traveling across the floor. Don't worry, that is quite normal, but that's also an indication that imagine that you've got a pole going through your body, like you're one of those carousel horses going up and down, and that this pole, this alignment in your body is going through the top of your head, keeping your chin really up and proud, your shoulders back and down, and it's through the center of you. So you've really got a very strong central line in your body, keeping you upright. If this is twisted like a globe, the axis is twisted very slightly, you'll find that you're traveling in that direction. So if you are leaning too far forward, you'll probably find that you start going one direction and then it becomes harder to hold. The further off the central axis you are, the more challenging it will become to hold. So that's annoying. Okay, so let's correct that by bending our knees, keeping our chin really tall, and we're going to reduce the number of spins we actually are aiming for and make it a really solid 1, 1.5, or 2. So round and bend. Okay, really important to have a couple of really solid spins rather than flailing around all over the place and not really understanding what is happening. So this is our troubleshooting part. Okay, the other thing that we often see that is an issue is that you might drop out of your spin on the same side all the time and not know why. What usually happens is your right foot, which will have the toe up, should be following across your body in order to keep the spin going. So you're actually traveling with your right foot going round and round and round. If this right toe actually goes out of this circle that you're trying to create instead of round the circle, your weight is going to follow. It's going to drop this way and your spin is going to stop. Can you see how that's going to happen? So if you find that you're always dropping the same way, it might be this pesky little toe that is responsible for that. If that's the case, then try this drill. With your heels together, you're going to push your toe around to meet the other toe and pull your heels together. So we're pushing toe to toe, pulling heel to heel, a toe to toe, a heel to heel, a toe to toe, a heel to heel. Now, as you gain speed with this drill, because you can go quite fast, your toe will naturally lift and your heel will naturally lift. So you're going toe, heel, heel, until you're naturally on a toe and a heel without too much effort, and you're giving yourself a little bit of a push off the floor as you increase the speed. Now, it is going to take practice, so do give yourself some time. Woo, I got a little bit dizzy there. As with all roller skate skills, spinning takes so much time. I told myself 10 years ago, in fact, possibly even more than that, that I wouldn't be satisfied until I could spin in a row 10 times. Then I knew my spinning journey would be, I'd be satisfied with the level that I got to, and I'd consider myself good at spinning. I've learned since then that you don't need to be able to spin 10 times in a row to consider yourself good at spinning. You can decide whether you're good at spinning or if it's something that you enjoy or not. So we try and reframe all the time. You are not good at something, you are not bad at something. You are building experience with something. So right now, you are building experience with spinning. You are building experience with roller skating. But how much experience you have is something I don't know. You're building this all of the time. Maybe you've tried spinning before and you're getting a bit stuck, and I hope this video will have helped you to decide what that troubleshooting point is and solve that little problem and overcome that. Maybe you've never done spinning before, and so you will have much less experience, in which case, really stick with getting those foundations absolutely solid. So get those 90-degree turns, understand that the movement is being initiated, both power in your legs and twisting in the shoulders. Both are important when you're spinning. And if you are comfortable with all of those things, then don't forget going in the opposite direction. What happened there? Thank you.